Hey everybody, Nick here, and today we're going to do a little disassembly for you of this guy right here. This is the VDK Knives Pioneer of the Nile, like the river, not of the Nile of thyself or something along those lines. Anyways, so we're going to just take it apart and see what makes it tick. I want to thank my buddies Frankie and Bert over at the Birdshot IV channel for sending this little guy along. It's a very interesting little knife, and looking forward to taking it apart. Now, one thing I'm noticing immediately here is a free spinning pivot. So I'm going to have to get my other little T8 driver here. And just hold one of the other sides. There we go. And there we go. Feels like there's a little bit of a non-permanent thread locker on there, but that's okay. There we go. We're popping loose. Nice. 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 Aha. Interesting. So the actual pivot is on the show side. And there went my pivot screw. Yeah, looks like some white thread locker on there. Not a huge deal. But something to keep in mind as you're doing your own disassembly. And then it looks like we're using T6 down here on the bottom end of it. So we'll keep that in mind. Hopefully these will not be free spinning, and hopefully these will not be Loctited. There we go, and that's popped loose. No free spin. I'm definitely seeing some thread locker here. That's a shame. Whatever, all's well that ends well. Just gotta be a little careful here. Come on. Come on, you little bugger. Oh, interesting. Look at that. It's popping the clip out. So apparently the clip and the... well, that's weird. This screw here connects to the clip screw on the other side. So if I pop that loose, then the whole thing should come apart. Right? Really? How does that even work? All right. So the knife is busy disassembling itself over here, but let's see here. L10, okay. Don't know what quite that means, but it sure is right there. I don't know quite why this is... Well, let's just try and do the rest of the disassembly here and ease the knife apart itself. Let's get the blade out of the situation. There we go. The blade is out of the situation. Bearings are out. Hey, ceramic bearings. Nice. And we'll just ease... Whoa, there we go. And the rest of it's all apart now. Beautiful. I see. So this is a Chicago screw. It appears to be statically mounted into there, and so the knife comes apart by undoing the... Well, that's kind of interesting. They've got Chicago screws on here, but the Chicago screws are going different directions. The collar is on one side over here and on the other side over here. Okay, hey, whatever, why not, right? So, there we go. We've got this little knife apart, and we can see what's making it tick here. Nice, relatively simple design here. And there's the grit right in here. This guy was not flipping nearly as smoothly as I had hoped it would. So, we're going to go ahead and... Actually, it's still very smooth, let me be real about that, but still, I think there's some improvement to be made. So we're just going to go ahead and clean this little guy out here. A couple of things I do want to highlight. These little studs right here are positioning holes for the carbon fiber, which means that the carbon fiber is not just being held on. See, they just drop into these little things here. Means the CF is not just being held on by the... basically the pinch of the pivot screw there, which is nice. It's reassuring, and, you know, it will lead to longer-term alignment of the knife, and that's a beautiful thing. Another thing that you'll notice is that the lock bar the lock bar insert screw here is a little bit longer, but that's okay. It lives right inside. You can see here that it falls into this little cutout in the carbon fiber. So when this guy is on there, the screw just goes to the end. Another thing I'll highlight is both the ceramic detent ball here as well as this over travel stop. And which is kind of nice because when I first look at this knife, because it's got this sort of pattern. I figured that they were using, they being Vlad here, the maker, was using the carbon fiber as the over travel stop. But no, they've got a separate over travel stop in there as well. So, nice. You know, that's kind of a little bit of an extra mile thing. I rather suspect that they had this part already, but nonetheless. That's good, and we'll just clean out the rest of the knife here. I may have mentioned this already, but this is being made by VDK Knives, actually. The company that's making them for V Knives is VDK Knives, which is a little weird. But that's A-okay. VDK Knives mid-techs are very, very good. I've handled a couple of them now, and they do a really, really nice job of making these, well, really, really nice. 017. Interesting. That must be the number of this particular knife or something along those lines. Yeah, see, 017, 017. I kind of wish the number were more visible, because I think that really does add something to the pride of ownership of a, especially a small batch production mid-techy sort of pocket knife. I wish they'd done it, for instance, on the backspacer here. Would have just made it a little bit more like, oh, I've got number 17. Maybe I'm the only person who feels that way, but numbering your stuff is kind of cool. Because it makes your users, people who own your knives, feel like it's a little bit more exclusive. It's a little bit more different. It's interesting. Just trying to clean some gunk off the back of the blade there. There we go. Beautiful. And we'll clean the blade up itself. We can see here that this is using the... You've got this little pin that goes within this track as the stop pin. So technically the stop pin's mounted in the blade and the stop track is on the scales here. I don't see that as being at all a problem. It's absolutely a fine idea. It's just a different approach than a lot of people take. Most people put the stop pin in the scales and then have a track in the blade. If anything, this approach might give you a little bit more strength in the blade, although a little less in the liner. It's probably a wash. But either way, there's nothing to object to so far here in the construction. Aside from the slightly unexpected aspect of the pocket clip being directly mated to the screw on the other side there, so far everything seems pretty impressive and good to go. Just cleaning out the inside of the pivot here. Get rid of this gunk wherever I can. Another thing, I think I said this earlier, but we can see here that these are using ceramic bearings. Ceramic bearings are not something that's, oh my god, crucial, but it is always a nice thing to see. They tend to result in a slightly smoother action overall, and here this is a very smooth knife, so there's no shock there. There we go. Bearings are clean now. Beautiful. And everything has been cleaned up. We are ready to reassemble. So I'm going to go ahead and start off by, that's right, because this pivot goes into the presentation side. I'm going to go ahead and start off just by putting this bolster on here. This is titanium, so I don't feel the need to put frog lube on the back side underneath this bolster, because it's not going to corrode anyways. So, is that a bolster? I guess. Sure. Why not? This is Frankie and Bud's knife, and Bud recently made a comment, and he is actually somebody I should trust on this matter. He is a guy who studies oil and friction and whatnot, and said that, you know, I very massively over-lubricate knives, so I'm going to go on ahead and use a little less lubrication on his knife than I normally would. Just because, you know, why not? I'm always open to learning from people, especially people who know what the heck they're talking about, unlike some people who have YouTube channels. Namely, me. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and use a little less lubrication there. Maybe that was still too much. Old habits die hard, right? And this bottle is really trying hard to dispense a whole lot of lube. There we go. And again, just going to drop the bearing in. So note that this knife is, although it's pretty thick, actually is using, it's got cutouts for the bearings inside the blade, which allows the knife to be a little bit thinner in the pivot area, which I always appreciate. No real concern there. Okay, are there other parts I'm forgetting? Yes, indeed, the backspacer. That's right, because the backspacer... This is one thing, you know, you'll see it in the full review, but I love the fact that the lanyard hole, well, not even hole, lanyard bar, I suppose, whatever this thing is, the thing that the lanyard goes onto is done in this way, because you lose zero space, like you don't have any extra space that's accommodating it. So, there you go. Let's see here, let's drop this in. Got a couple of pins I got to align in the back here. Luckily, everything seems to be aligning nicely. Is there anything else? Both the bearings are in. Oh, hashtag not a brilliant man. The pivot is in place. Let's drop this together. Not quite all in alignment back here because I've got 3 different things on 3 different sides here. Gonna have to change the angle of attack slightly here to get everything in. Come on. Trying not to use too much force here. Using the force is absolutely great for destroying the Death Star and whatnot, but it's not so stellar for reassembling knives. In general, there we go. That's popped in, that's popped in. Now, let's drop the pivot in. There we go. Hey, everything's back together. Beautiful. That was the nerdiest joke I may have ever made on this channel. That's probably not true. Okay, I'm going to drop this little piece of carbon fiber in there. Now, I'm going to go ahead, and since there was some Loctite used previously, I'm just kind of applying some pressure here to make sure it stays roughly in the position I need it to be. I'm going to go ahead and swap out this bit here. It's, there we go. And put a little bit of Loctite on this guy. The thread locker on here was right on the edge of acceptable. It definitely needed a little bit of extra doing. Luckily, the hardware was solid, so it wasn't like a, you know, if these were really soft screws, that could have resulted in a little bit of a stripping situation. But there we go. That's in there for the moment. Now switch back down to a smaller size. T6 is just too small. I'm not saying that as a dig on this knife particularly. I mean, it's a problem here, but it's a problem throughout the industry. I really love seeing bigger hardware. Okay, now that's through. Little Loctite on here. Bam. And we screw this the rest of the way in here. That tightened down. That side is re-spinning. Centering looks good. Now I have... Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Cool. Sorry, the action's really nice. 0 blade play. Oh, man, that's nice. Hot damn. Centering is just perfect. And there was a little bit of grittiness in there that's just, it's gone now. You know, it felt like there must have been like a hair or something in the ball bearing track, because, oh, I like this. Oh, see, these are the days, these are the things that make a man smile, at least this man, because this knife's action was good, and this is the reason I do the disassemblies before review. The action on this knife was good. It was very, very excellent. But after a little bit of relubrication and after, I mean, cleaning out whatever little issue was in there, maybe just a little piece of carbon fiber or something, this knife is now stupidly good in terms of the action. Holy crap, that was because I had my finger on the freaking thing in the back there. But oh man, okay, I'm gleeful now. Holy crap, look at that. That's beautiful. Okay. Anyways, I'm just having fun now. I'll be carrying this guy a little bit, and then I'll be dropping my full review. But wow, that's actually pretty nice. Great way to start off your day, guys. Alrighty. Hope this was interesting to you, and that you have a wonderful rest of your day, and that you are not pioneering any denial in your life at the moment either. Have a good one. Bye now.